My oaths betray each other till there's nothing left to keep.
Only Us by Miracle of Sound. Alright, welcome back to the Shardbreaker podcast. This is episode 11 of The Way of Kings from the Stormlight Archive. I am Midnight. I am currently sick, so apologize for my voice. And I am here with Darkness
Who is also currently sick. But,
and Mythic.
Who is not sick, but it's going to be because of you guys.
Yes, because we're definitely in the same room recording this.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't see it. Look at the stream. We're all in the same room.
Alright. So yeah, let's get right into it, because I don't know how long my voice is going to last. So chapter 40, Eyes of Red and Blue. The epigraph is Death upon the lips, sound upon the air, char upon the skin. From The Last Desolation by Ambrian, line 335. So what do you think about these lines referring what do you think they mean by death upon the lips and sound upon the air?
That's upon the what?
Death upon the lips
Uh-huh.
And what?
and sound upon the air.
Sound upon the air. What is sound upon the air? I thought it was air.
You making fun of the way I'm speaking because I'm sick?
Yep. 100%. You knew I would.
What lisp? That's upon the lisp?
Lip! Fuck you!
Wouldn't be it wouldn't be this podcast if we didn't mess with you. I think it's poison, but that's just me.
They got
Death upon the
scared to
lips,
death.
Poison,
They gasped.
and
And they died.
So we start this chapter with Kaladin's point of view as he steps out into the sunlight, walking on shaky legs. His injuries should be worse, or he should be dead. Lopin follows behind him as he had been watching over Kaladin. Kaladin sees Rock leading the Bridgemen in their morning exercise, and when Moash sees him, he almost causes the whole group to fall over as he hurries out from under the bridge. Kaladin jokes that they need to work on what happens when one of them trips or stops, causing the Bridgemen to laugh and give Kaladin thumps on the back. Teft watches from a few steps away, stating that they didn't bathe enough for him to want to be part of the group hug. Kaladin thinks back on the high storm, about Syl trying to hold back the storm from him, and of him seeing a face that he thinks couldn't be the Stormfather. He also remembers seeing Deathspren and sudden bursts of strength. He asks how long he was out for, and Moash tells him 10 days, which Kaladin thinks is impossible as he should have been out for a minimum of 4 weeks. There had been 2 bridge runs while Kaladin had been unconscious, and they had lost 2 men. So what do you think about Kaladin's quick recovery?
Only 2 men? That's crazy.
Yeah, without Kaladin there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like they should have all died without Kaladin there.
Well, I think they said it was easy ones where they got there before the Parshendi.
Mm-hmm. So they got lucky. Got it.
What do we think about the what?
About Kaladin's quick recovery.
Oh, that's
I mean,
crazy. Like, how
obviously
he
he's a
so
god,
fast?
so.
Like,
Only
what?
10 days.
Obviously he's a god, so,
So the Hordenses sound, and Kaladin confirms that they are on bridge run duty. Kaladin wants to run the bridge with them, but Rock reminds Kaladin that he wouldn't allow that of the other men. Kaladin agrees to just help Lopin and Damon with water, and then he'll head back on the permanent bridges if he is feeling too weak. We then skip forward to Kaladin watching Sadeas' army fight the Parshendi. The approach had been easy since they had arrived at the same time, and thus the Parshendi hadn't bothered shooting at the bridgemen. Kaladin thinks that he understood the tactics of these fights now. Rock and Sigzil join him, and Kaladin asks why the Parshendi fight, to which Sigzil replies that they must have soul casters and need the gem hearts for food like the Alethi do. Kaladin then explains to them that the bridgemen are bait, which is why they aren't allowed shields. It's much easier to get untrained men than it is to get trained soldiers. Kaladin notes that the Parshendi are less advanced in tactics, and it's obvious that they never fought large-scale battles. Likely they'd only had skirmishes between clans. This meant that they couldn't help but fire at the unprotected bridgemen, even though they weren't the real threat. Eventually, Sadeas wins the battle, and the soldiers head back, tired and having lost many men. So what do you think about Sadeas' tactics to protect his trained men by having the Parshendi focus on the bridgemen?
I mean, strategically,
sense.
this whole thing
Yeah, it makes sense.
makes sense. And also, if people commit crimes, he's figuring out what to do with them rather than just keeping them in the jail.
Mm-hmm.
But also, fuck you for doing that.
Yeah. So we then skip to the evening, where the bridgemen are sitting around the fire having food made by Rock. Syl has returned, excited that Kaladin was up and walking, but giving no explanation for where she had been. The men were excited that they hadn't lost anyone, but Kaladin thinks that just being a bridgeman, it was already a death sentence. He had hoped to prove that they were useful and thus worthy of shields and protection, but now he understands that his plans were futile. So where do you think Syl may have gone while she was away from Kaladin?
She was recharging.
On a secret mission.
Oh,
So
I
Map,
think she was just recovering from doing all that stuff in the storm.
you think she like wore herself out like helping him so much?
Yeah.
So Mapson stands up and thanks Rock for all the work he does on the stew each night and gives him a present from all the bridgemen, a razor and some related hygiene items. Rock tears up and hurries into the barracks. The men begin serving stew, but Kaladin is struggling with himself to not become the wretch that he had been before the night at the honor chasm. He notices Sigil is also being quiet, and he goes over to him, noting Sigil seems well educated. Sigil replies that Kaladin also seems well educated, and that the men think he was raised outside of Lethkar as a leader or a man of high birth, even though his eyes are dark. So what do you think about the men believing Kaladin is of higher birth?
Well, he
Like
has.
true, to be
He
honest.
is.
I mean, he kind of is, but not as high of birth as they think.
Okay, but still, he's Stormblessed. Like, you know, what higher form is there than a god?
So Kaladin then asks about Sigil's past, to which he replies that he tried to kill someone. He also talks about the Marabethians, who give criminals the chance to avoid execution by being used as bait for great shells that live in the waters nearby. Sigil then says he thinks it's good that Kaladin gives the men false hope so that they can spend their last days happy. Rock then appears having cleaned up his face with a razor, although leaving large sideburns. He gives some of the men a hug, extremely happy with his gift. He also offers the others to use the razor, and several take him up on this. However, Kaladin does not, and doesn't eat the stew given to him. He feels that they have no hope of survival. So what do you think of the return of Kaladin's depression and hopelessness?
I mean, you know, I feel like it's kind of not warranted with the fact that he just survived a high storm, but
You gotta be careful with depression, Spren.
Yeah, you gotta ward off those depressions, Bren.
I was having a random thought, you know, and I was like,
random
you know,
thought.
it'd be, yeah, well, kind of, because I was letting it, like, you know, just float around what could happen in this world or whatever, and I had like no fucking thing to back it up. But it'd be cool if the people that we saw in the very beginning with the like swords and all that,
The heralds.
yeah, or I guess, or like the power people, you know wear the armor later on.
Oh, from the vision that Dalinar saw.
Either one, yeah. It'd be cool if they like passed away and like somehow like implanted themselves in future people, which is like Kaladin's people, right?
Yeah.
So like what if like we're getting perspective of people that are like, you know, related to that. And that's what like Dalinar is getting that thing that's like, oh, like fuck, I forgot what these. I always forget what they ask him to do, like the
Unite
exact
them.
wording.
Unite them.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, that'd be pretty interesting.
So then we move on to chapter 41 of Alds and Milp. We get a picture of some axe hounds, which I'll
Oats and milk.
Milp.
Oh,
Yes, that's a picture of some axe hounds that Shallan drew. So we get 5.5 years ago. So we go to past Kaladin's point of view as he hurries into the surgery room, seeing his father working on Riller, who has a large tusk sticking out of him, and his leg was crushed so badly that pieces of bone were sticking out. Roshon was on another table as he had a tusk sticking out of his leg. Laura was screaming from the doorway as Roshon's guards try to pull her away. Kaladin is shocked out of his stupor when Liren calls for him, and he hurriedly washes his hands before grabbing bandages. Hesina and Tien show up for a moment before Hesina pulls Tien away and gets some more water for Liren as he commands. Liren washes out the gut wound where the tusk had been in Riller before leaving him to tend to Roshon. Roshon insists on Liren continuing to work on his son, but Liren says that Riller is beyond his ability to help. Kaladin then held a bandage soaked in Day's water to Roshon's mouth so that he becomes loopy, and then he did the same to Riller as Liren said it was the one mercy they could give him. When so was done, he burned the bandage. So what do you think about Liren choosing to give up on Riller?
Lost cause after all. Yeah.
personally, I feel like you don't give up until they die. So
Well, I mean, Liren's thing kind of makes sense where he's like, this guy's, I don't have the ability to heal him, so I'm gonna tend to the guy who I can save.
well, I mean, yeah, but like you don't just straight up give up because he tended to the other guy, and the other dude was still like struggling.
Yeah, but I mean, he died while he was helping Roshon. I'm sure if he'd still been alive, he might have gone back to him after he was done with Roshon, but he died while...
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
No, he didn't. He died after you.
I mean, I'll read it out here, but...
I swear to you, because I remember that at the end of the chapter, it said that he had finally, like, you know, passed away.
So since Liren explains to Kaladin that Roshon and Riller had gone hunting the White Spine, which was stupid and the reason for their injuries. As Kaladin helps wash out the wounds, he notices his father hesitate near an artery. Cutting it would kill Roshon. However, he doesn't and begins sewing the wounds closed, and Riller stops breathing behind them as he does so. So yeah, he's still sewing up Roshon's wounds when Riller breathes his last breath.
Okay, but that's something literally Kaladin could have done.
I mean, if Liren couldn't do anything... Oh, you mean the sewing up the wounds?
Yeah.
But yeah, so what do you guys think about Liren for a moment thinking about killing Roshon?
I would have done it.
Mercy. Yeah, it would have been a mercy. So.
I'm a great person. I would have done it.
So we skip to the evening after Roshon had gone back to his estate to be tended by his servants. Kaladin and Liren are both exhausted as they sit outside the surgery room, looking at the setting sun. Kaladin asks if his father would have killed Roshon if he wasn't there, but Liren replies he wouldn't have, as he isn't a murderer. He says that someone has to not kill people, and also mentions that Roshon had left 2 townsmen at the hunt in his haste to get his son to them. Kaladin states that he wishes Liren had killed Roshon, and Liren leaves Kaladin, and Kaladin thinks that he would have let Roshon bleed out if it had been his choice, although he wouldn't have cut the artery. Kaladin thinks that he could kill if need to, and that some people just need to be removed. So yeah, do you agree with Kaladin or no?
I mean, he was a lost cause, so I feel like at that point, euthanasia is just a mercy.
Well, no, he's talking about Roshon, not Riller. Riller's the one who was the lost cause.
Yeah, they're both lost causes, to be honest. Wait, is the other one the dad? Is that who that is?
The dad's the one who survived, yeah.
Yeah, is it Roshon or whatever?
Yeah, Roshon is the dad.
Yeah, exactly. They're both lost causes.
Chapter 42, Beggars and Barmaids. The epigraph is, like a high storm, regular in their coming, yet always unexpected. The word desolation is used twice in reference to their appearances. See pages 57, 59, and 64 of Tales by Hearthlight. So what do you think about the desolations coming regularly but unexpectedly?
They sound like high storms.
Yeah, I mean, so we move on to Shallan's point of view. She tells Yasna that what she did was legal and right, but not moral or ethical. She states that you can be moral without following the law, and immoral while following the law. Yasna then asks how she can be right but not moral, and Shallan states that an action can be right because it doesn't consider intent, but morality does consider intent. Yasna considers Shallan's comments, and Shallan glances at Yasna's glove-covered soulcaster. She wonders if Yasna hasn't tried to use it yet, or if she was hiding that it was broken. Yasna states that she believes that Shallan believes what she had said, and that she seems to have gone over the philosophies properly. She doesn't agree with Shallan's conclusion, but says it was a good foundation, and that they will go through philosophies more thoroughly in the future. She says that Shallan put in a lot of work into considering this, and that it was a struggle for her. Yasna then also states that her intentions were good, even if Shallan doesn't agree with what she did. She then allows Shallan to have the rest of the day off. So do you agree with Shallan's conclusion that what Yasna did was lawful but immoral?
I mean, I don't think it was lawful. I think it was lawful at all. I mean, but, you know.
Well, because technically she was doing it in self-defense, which is why she says it's lawful.
She's not, no. She searched them out.
She didn't search them out, but they still did attack her, so it's
the morality
technically
part that she
self-defense.
says it's not right.
You can't claim self-defense, though, if you went to, you know, if I go to fight you and then go, oh, well, he was going to fight me till I was dead, I'm claiming self-defense.
I mean,
Well,
going to fight
was
was a bit different. They were just walking through an alleyway, even though she was, like, hoping they would come after them.
She knew they were there.
Yeah, but she still didn't instigate it.
The difference between them knowing that, you know, her knowing that they were there is that they put up their weapon. At that point, you know.
So if I know that somebody's going to be in an alley and I say, hey, I'm going to go here to box this person, and then they have, you know, put up their hands and they're going to go to fight me, like.
Then yeah, it's self-defense if they do it
why?
first.
If they
instigate
instigate. If you don't
Because they did it
instigate, then
first.
it's self-defense.
That is
By the law.
instigating, though, to go there by yourself. To go,
It's not,
hey,
technically,
I'm
if you're not the
going here
first one to...
knowing-
You're allowed to go wherever the fuck you want.
no,
Yeah.
you're not, actually.
Yes, you are.
If it's a public place, you are.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't see a legal problem with what they're doing.
So, my one thing there is that the king has said what they're doing is wrong. The City Watch is being corrupted and bribed, is what Yasna is saying. The king does want them held accountable and has tried to get the City Watch to go after them. So it is illegal what the thugs are doing in the area. It's just the city guard is corrupted and being bribed.
I mean, so what stops them from also then going, okay, well, I'm going to take her in?
Yeah, so what I'm saying is in today's, like, obviously, I think, based on what Shalana said, it seems like in the books, based on, we don't really know anything about the law, but based on what Shalana said, what she did apparently is alright, but in today's days, I think, like in our real life, I think, again, that first guy, they both had an intent to kill. I think it would be I don't know enough about law, I don't know how that would be judged, because I think they both, because yeah, if we're going on
I mean,
our real life where it's intent based, they both had an intent to kill.
On the fact that if she had only killed him and let the other two run off, she probably would have gotten away with a self-defense claim.
Yes.
However, when you then go, you have to look at all of the facts of a case. You can't just look at one sole fact and be like, oh, well, it's this, because everything is included into a case. She then chose to attack the other two, meaning that she had some form of intent to do harm to these people. Meaning that, well, they're dead. They can't talk what they were going to do. They can.
Exactly.
It's all her voice, right? So a lawyer who would come in for the other side, for that side, would have to then give adamant evidence that states that this person wasn't doing, was doing something to them to cause this to happen. And then when you start to look at the facts of the case, you would see the fact that, sure, if this guy actually did slash at her and she killed him, and then she went and killed the other two, that shows a form of the premeditation of killing them. She was designed, because then you would ask the question of why were you going down this alley, knowing it was a dangerous area, and then she would not really be able to give a truthful statement about why she was going anywhere, because she literally went there because she knew there were going to be people in this alley. She knew there was a high possibility because people have been mugged and attacked in this alley.
Yeah. I'd say that, like, yeah, I think the first guy is definitely the one where, like, it's very iffy. Like, say, like, in a gun situation, the guy survived. Like, she shot him in the head, but he somehow survives. I'd say both that guy and her would be charged with, like, first-degree murder, because she did go after the other guys as well. I'd say he also, though, could be described with, like, attempted murder or something, because he, like, did go after her.
And which one do you think is worse?
Well, I mean, as again, if she didn't go, if he, like, survived and stuff, but I think, like, his intent was also to kill her, based on what we potentially know about them. Her intent was to kill him. They both, like, I think it's like a weird, they're both completely obviously in the wrong. But yeah, she should not have gone after the guys that tried to escape.
Ran away. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I think it's definitely,
we don't know what he was going to do. He didn't state outright, "I'm going to attack you and murder you," or "I'm going to murder you and rape you." They assumed that because that's what they made the assumption afterwards.
but they assumed it because of a history of what had been happening, and if they could have, and like, say they did have proof that they were the same people doing it, it's highly likely that yes, they were going to kill them. Like, say we know that likely, yes.
But I mean, it's like I said, you're basing it off of assumptions, though.
But the thing is, we have their point of view. We don't have the thug's point of view.
No,
like, Yazos thought, this is my intent. Like, we don't have, unfortunately, like, the side to say, like, yes, this was his intent or not. But, like, you could say, like, say it was his intent, then yes, like, they're obviously, like, it's fully self-defense against the one guy, I'd say, at the very least. Anyways.
I don't know, I feel like there's a legal case there, but alright.
But again, like, we don't know the laws of the area, so...
No, but, I mean, when we're talking legality, we can only go based on what we know.
Yeah, but basically Shalon has said is that intent and law are not the same here. So
what she said?
Yeah, she said that what is right and what is lawful does not consider
moral.
Intent.
What is moral and
what is moral does consider intent. But she said like Yasna was immoral, but she was lawful in what she did.
I don't think she ever stated intent though. She just said it was immoral to do what you did, but
no, she does say specifically it's because of intent.
Does she?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I don't remember that.
Yeah, that's why we kept bringing up intent, was because she specifically says, like, the morality is about intent.
That's the whole legality part of it. All legal basis is based off of intent.
But apparently not in this world.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, in our society, that's why I was bringing up intent.
Yeah, because I think it says...
Like, literally everything is based off of intent.
Yeah, because it says, an action can be right. It is simply something done, viewed without considering intent. Killing 4 men in self-defense is right. But morality applies to your intent and the greater context of the situation. Seeking out men to kill is an immoral act.
Which is exactly what she did.
Yeah, that's why Shalon's saying what you did was lawful and right, but it was not moral and ethically okay.
I still don't think it's lawful and right, though. I mean, maybe in this society it is.
As I said, in this book society, it obviously
and
is.
There's other statutes of, like, vigilantism, like, you can't just take upon your own self to, go do these things to other people.
In current laws, it's definitely, like, intent is taken into effect in our laws, but in what she's saying is that in their laws, intent is not considered. It is what actions are done.
We're also talking about a woman who just stole from her employer, so...
Anyways, let's finally move on for this.
I mean, this is a very heated debate every time we have this conversation.
Yeah, so Shalon hurries back to their rooms and takes out the Soulcaster, knowing that she'd been forced to infuse the gems during the last high storm, which had caused a lot of anxiety for her. She had not been able to get the Soulcaster to work. In a book she had read recently, it said that humming sometimes helped with getting a Soulcaster to work, So Shalon had tried humming as she concentrated on the soulcaster. However, the humming didn't seem to help her either. So why do you think humming may help with the soulcaster?
Maybe it's a frequency thing, like a vibration of your vocal cords creates a thing. I don't know.
What do you think, Darkness? Do you have any thoughts about why humming may help?
Maybe it has to do exactly why the Parshendi are always singing in battle.
Oh yeah.
Interesting. Do you think that's why they're able to maybe because it's been speculated that they probably have soulcasters as well. Do you think maybe that's why they're able to use them and stuff because they're better at all the humming and stuff?
I don't think they have soulcasters.
What do you think they have then?
Some other ability.
You think maybe they
I'm
can do
pretty
something
sure it's
similar to
related to humming
soulcasting?
too. So maybe it's a soulcaster, but in a different form, not like the form of a soulcaster.
Like a different version of the same technology, different technology, same outcome type thing?
Not same outcome.
Because I think in one of Dalnar's chapters, it was speculated that they did have soulcasters because they're oh, they also need the gem hearts to eat, just like we do.
I thought that's what they suspected.
Yeah, because they're out on
Yeah,
the...
they don't know.
Because they don't know for sure, but the Parshendi are basically out on the plains with potentially no way to do any farming or anything because they've secluded themselves out there. So
Are the
that they're
chasms
not...
beings edible?
Maybe. We don't know.
So why not eat them?
Maybe they do.
Crazy. That's crazy.
Maybe they just have a fully meat diet. They don't have any. They don't eat any vegetables. The Parshendi.
Yeah.
They don't
fuck
need
no.
grain.
Maybe that's why shit grows out of them.
Crabs cannibalizing crabs.
They're crab people.
They are crab people.
Yeah. Just sounds like a kaiju battle waiting to happen, honestly.
So Shalon takes a break to sketch the strata in the rock of the ceiling. However, she suddenly hears someone ask what she is, causing her to get startled and glance around. Shalon calls out, but no one replies until a maid enters the room. However, she seems surprised to see Shalon there, and Shalon is also sure that the voice had come from inside the room with her. So what do you think this voice was? Do you think it was a
The
hallucination
thing that she
or
painted.
something else?
I think it's the thing she painted.
The
or
weird
drew
creature
or whatever.
she painted?
Yeah, whatever she drew, yeah.
Do you agree, Darkness? What do you think that voice
Yep.
was?
Could be a sprint too, or both.
You think she's also got a spread following her around?
You never know. Because if Syl can talk,
Yeah. I mean, Kaladin apparently didn't know how long Syl had been following him around for, so she obviously was invisible to him for a long time. I think in previous chapters she's like, oh yeah, I remember you when you were a soldier in the army, and he's like, wait, you've been around that long? What?
Fucking stalker.
She's a stalker. So Shalon then tells the maid that she shouldn't have entered Yasna's room, since Yasna apparently didn't want any servants in there. She tells the woman to go apologize to Yasna right now. Once the maid is gone, Shalon hurriedly puts the soulcaster away in her safe pouch. She then uses the excuse of the maid being in the room to be able to search Yasna's room for any clues on how to use the soulcaster. She goes through the books on Yasna's desk, knowing that there's one about Urithiru, one about Atanatan, and the Unclaimed Hills, and several about the Voidbringers. Shalon finds it odd that Yasna would be interested in the Voidbringers, but she doesn't believe in the Almighty. So what do you think about these things that Yasna is researching?
So I was thinking, so at this point, time has passed, right? Since she stole the thing.
Yeah, I think she says it's been 2 or 3 weeks at some point. I think she might say her next somewhere later in this chapter.
And she says that Yasna or whatever her name is,
Yeah.
she says that at this point she would know the soulcaster is broken, and she hasn't said anything about it.
Yeah,
Right?
she's like she must have tried to use it by now because apparently Yasna would use it for random things sometimes. So she's she's definitely had to have used it by now, right? She's
What
gotta
if
know.
she's not using a soulcaster originally?
What if it's her power just innately?
What if she can just use Stormlight for that in general?
You think maybe she has powers, kind of like Kaladin does, or something, where she could use
Yeah.
Stormlight?
Wait, Kaladin has powers?
I mean, he's been able to heal using Stormlight. We know that.
Yeah, he's a surgeon.
Yeah, exactly. What? What do you mean? He's just a surgeon.
Yeah, for
I mean,
sure.
He has powers.
Got super
I mean, he
healing.
just survived. He just survived the entire high storm. Or
Yeah,
anything,
right.
huh?
Where boulders are being flung around.
It wouldn't make sense why. So let's say this is the theory that's
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with. It would make sense why the soulcaster's not really working with her, and why she wouldn't really notice if the soulcaster is broken or not.
Do you think it's a fake soulcaster just so she can get away with using
Use her
soulcasting?
powers. Yeah,
Interesting.
I like that.
What do you think, Mythic? Do you agree that she may have used she doesn't notice the soulcaster's broken because she doesn't need it?
I mean, I don't know. It doesn't feel like it, to be honest.
You think maybe
I feel
she's
like
just
she hasn't been using it.
also
Apparently,
Or
it's only,
like I said before, she knows how to repair it. So
apparently
she
it's
thought it was
just a
broken.
weapon of murder.
Yeah, I mean if she knows a lot about soulcatcher, she could have been oh, I can just fix it by doing this. I must have broken it when I murdered the guys.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, didn't something crack? or
Yeah, one of the
whatever?
stones
Oh,
cracked.
maybe she just thought they all cracked. Maybe she didn't see it before, and she's
Or maybe
like,
she
"Oh,
thought
I gotta
like
get
part of
this
the
fixed."
metal or something cracked underneath the stone, or like, yeah. It's definitely possible, yeah, that she just knows how to fix it. And
Mhm.
Shalon's family and that guy, Luesh, didn't.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah,
Then,
it was totally fixable all along. Fuck you. Also, what do you think about Shalon reads out some of Yasna's notes here, and so it's revealed that these epigraphs from this part are Yasna's notes. So all these little epigraphs from this specific part are Yasna's notes. So yeah, what do you think about that?
I mean, I'm pretty sure one of us said that.
I think you guessed it could be a possibility. I don't know if you were very like sure about it.
What do you mean? That was 100%.
I mean, well, first off, how can we ever be sure about anything 100% in any of this? Like, you always leave some bit of, possibility for something different.
Well, we do now know for sure that these epigraphs are Yasna's notes.
She needs better note taking.
Tess needs to do some better
She's not
note-taking
telling me
now.
what the fuck this means. So
How dare she not explain more in her notes?
I need like notes on her notes.
So suddenly there's a knock on the door, which startles Shalon as she hurriedly puts the books back before going to see who's at the door. When she opens it, she sees Cabsel, who states that he heard that she had the day free and had brought jam. Shalon feels like she should say she is busy and look through Yasna's things more, but she could also potentially see what Cabsel knew about soulcasters. She was also hearing voices because of how stressed she was, so she agreed to spend time with him so she could relax. We then skip to Shalon and Cabsel sitting outside in the gardens. Cabsel has truthberry jam today, and states that it's said that anyone who eats it will speak only the truth until the next sunset. However, this isn't true, and instead burning the leaves and twigs can cause people to become intoxicated. Shalon happily eats some of the jam as they joke around and flirt. Shalon thinks that she's finding it less likely that Cabsel comes by only to worry about her soul. So what do you think about this potential relationship between Shalon and Cabsel?
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
Why don't you like it, Darkness?
Mm-mm. I don't trust him.
You don't trust him?
No, he's a man.
Well then,
What do you think, Mythic?
I mean, get it, girl.
Yeah, you get that jam.
Yeah, you get that jam. You flirt with that man. I mean, you're gonna be leaving in like a week, so that's not gonna happen. But in your head, that's it. That's what's happening.
Okay, but when he said I could leave, his little fucking
He's like, I can lead the Ardentia.
yeah, I was like, maybe I do like him, but you know what? No, I don't like him. I don't like him.
You're very indecisive.
But maybe I do like him. No,
He's just trying to do his thing,
he could bring the jam. I could bring the toast. Ah, shit.
Did I ever show you guys a picture of Cabsel?
Ah, fuck no. He better not be ugly. Actually, no, he better be ugly because then I won't like him. He looks a lot better than I pictured him.
So Shalon thinks that she likes Cabsel's flirting, but if her plans to save her family go well, she will need to have a political marriage instead. Shalon also admits to Cabsel that her father wasn't the best man, but he was very protective of her. Shalon eventually tells Cabsel that he should stop flirting with her as he's an Ardent, however he replies that he could leave the Ardentia. Shalon worries about where the conversation is going and blurts out that Yasna thinks that Cabsel is using her to try and get at Yasna's soulcaster. However, Cabsel agrees that he had wanted to ask her for help getting it, but figured it was a bad idea after talking to the other Ardents, as soulcasters were extremely important and taking one from another country could cause a war. Shalon then asked Cabsel if he knew much about the soulcasters, however he had never used one. Cabsel does say though that they are fairly easy to use and you just need to touch something and then touch one of the gemstones to get it to work. Shalon says that isn't how Yasna uses it, but Cabsel replies that people who use them frequently get better at using them. Shalon, however, thinks that she had tried that method and it hadn't worked. So what do you think about even Ardents seeming to not know fully how the soulcasters work, or like you guys thought, maybe it's not working because it's just not a real soulcaster?
Oh man, Darkness thought that. I just think that.
Yeah,
she's
sorry,
fixing
Darkness
it.
thought it.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah, what do you think
What's
about
your
those?
thought on it, Mythic?
On what? Sorry.
On
But the Ardents potentially not knowing fully how the soulcasters work. So if you're correct and it's not a fake soulcaster like Darkness thinks, like what do you think about like even the Ardents keeping it secret from each other how to work the soulcasters?
I mean, knowledge is power, so hide all the knowledge you can. I mean, why would you tell anybody about it, to be honest?
Apparently kept very secret. What do you think, Darkness? With your
Sorry.
theories, do you think that like that method actually is the correct way to use a soulcaster, or do you think he just doesn't know how to use it?
Even with my theories or without it, why would she tell him and his people how the fuck to use it?
Well, there's multiple soulcasters. Hers isn't the only one.
Yeah, but I mean, like, they don't know. They haven't gotten their hands on one if they want her.
Well, no, the Ardents do have soulcasters. Like it's mainly supposed to be Ardents who keep them, is what we've learned in the past. It's just the
Oh.
Ardents in Carbranth don't own any.
Why not?
I just don't think they have any.
But if it's artists that mainly keep them, why don't they? Like what?
I think it's similar to I don't think they've said if like they're able to make them easily or if they're also like an ancient technology like the shard blades. I'm not sure if they've mentioned either
So
way.
we would have to know more about its origin.
Yeah, we
You
don't know if like
why?
they're able to just like easily make them. Like it might be that there's a
Well,
limited
you
number.
know, right?
She does, yeah, for sure.
Because I don't want some like, we'll get answers later. Like we get answers to everything when we don't get answers to shit.
I mean, that happens all the time, Darkness.
I'll be honest, I think there's a limited number like shard blades. I think they're an ancient technology, but I don't remember fully.
There's a
if, like,
limited
they're-
number of shard blades.
Yeah,
there's 10.
there's no, that's the Herald's blades. There's a
there's
lot
10,
of shard
yeah.
blades. No, there's
Oh,
more
there's
than
totally
10.
10.
shard-
No, there's totally 10.
Yeah, no, they don't know how to make new shard blades. Shard blades are a limited quantity.
Okay, but you're saying that in general they're limited.
It's
Like-
there's several technologies such as shard blades, and I believe soul casters, but I'm not 100% sure, that are like things that were discovered by what they call like ancient peoples, and they discovered them again, like they found them just like in ruins and stuff like that, but they don't actually know how they're made or how to like replicate them, which is why they're so like coveted and like why people like fight each
And
other
the
for them.
shard plate army.
Shard plate's the same, yeah. They don't know how to make shard plate.
So it came in armor form already.
Yeah, so they just found like suits of shard plate.
And you're telling me that it happens to fit whoever's wearing them.
We don't know. I don't think if they fit anyone or if like they just like, because we know that based on like when Elokar fell off his saddle and like he apparently like some of his shard plate broke. I believe Dalinar says that they can like it like regrows with stormlight. Like it can fix itself. So like the shard plate uses stormlight to like repair.
Very interesting.
What'd you say with that? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said very interesting.
I want a
Yes.
shard plate made out
A
of
shark plate?
a shark plate.
Shark plate. Hoo-ha.
I want a shard plate made out of shard plate. You know, like a food plate.
What? Oh, I
What?
see. I see.
Wait, you want a plate made out of shark?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
it would wash itself. Just so you know,
You drop the plate, it cracks. It's fine. It can repair itself.
I don't think it would crack from fall.
Depends how high up you dropped it from.
I wonder if you start melting it, it would just turn into like stormlight, right?
We do not know. You guys have no idea.
Well, we should test it out.
Yeah, right now. Come on, Darkness. Me and you jump into this book and we'll test it out. And then,
Oh my god,
walk,
we could give.
and then I'll walk into the alleyway and I'll murder you.
It's fine. I'll soul cast myself into like dust.
Don't worry, I'm gonna soul cast you into dust myself.
Okay,
So
it's what I'm meant to be. And then I'll turn into dust spread.
Dust. And then what, are you gonna haunt me for the rest of my life?
just stalk you around.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna go into your orifices.
Oh god.
Oh, even better.
Anyways, Capsule apologizes for getting carried away and says that he should head off. As they stand up, Shalon and Capsule see the king walking with another Ardent, and Capsule ducks down to not be seen, stating he was supposed to be on cataloging duty, and that some of the Ardents think he's too interested in Shalon. After Capsule was gone, Shalon thinks that she should be leaving for home soon. However, she loves being a scholar, and Capsule is also a small part of her wanting to stay.
Yeah.
Do you think Capsule will leave the Ardentia to stay with Shalon?
No, that's like those people that are like, "Oh, I'll leave my baby mama for you."
I feel like that came from a place of like real closeness there.
Yeah, my father.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that's about right.
But yeah, Mythic, do you think Capsule's gonna leave the Ardentia to stay with Shalon?
No, not at all.
So
I think
Shalon
it
then
was
makes
all
her.
a big ploy to get the other woman into the whatever to religion. Yeah, there you go.
Mm-mm. He wants to hit it and quit it.
So Shalon makes her way back to her rooms to find an envelope waiting for her. The captain of the Wind's Pleasure had sent her a letter stating that he'd be back in Carbranth soon and could take her back home. Shalon thinks that in a week it will have been 3 weeks since she stole the Soulcaster, and a good time to head back. Shalon then makes her way to the Vale and Yasna's alcove and says that she wants to spend the rest of the day studying. So what do you think about Shalon's potential time limit now to leave Carbranth?
Like I said, she ain't gonna leave in a week. She thinks she is, but she's not.
She's gonna get shipped to the Shattered Plains.
Chapter
What
40.
if-
Oh, sorry.
What if Jazz is like, you know what? Let me go with you.
Oh shit.
And then she has to go meet the family, and she's gonna see like what's happening. And then she's like, "I have a solution. We're gonna get married."
Marriage
Yeah,
solves everything.
It would fix her like financial issues.
I mean, that'd be a good
Fix
political
something.
marriage.
Is it legal in this world?
I mean, apparently everything's legal.
Yeah, actually, I believe same-sex couples are fine in Lethe.
What?
Yeah, it comes up later in this book or the next book that yeah, the Alethi specifically are like super fine with like you being gay. I think for Light Eyes it might be a bit weirder because like they're big on like having children, but in general like
You
they're
can
like
still have
whatever.
children.
In general they're like yeah, that's fine. No one cares.
That's kind of weird. Why would they ever accept something like that? No, I'm joking. Oh
Well, I
god.
mean, okay, not to piggyback off of your comment there, Darkness, but I mean, when they're already sexist, like it wouldn't. It's not too far off that their bigotry wouldn't
No, that's why
bother
that's why I
people.
said it, because like it's
Yeah, I'm
funny,
saying,
especially with how they treat like women and stuff.
yeah, the way that they treat other people of certain ethnicities and genders. Yeah,
So it's wrong to have titties, but it's not wrong to kiss another boy.
I mean, apparently, no, for apparently, it's wrong to not have titties.
Yeah, because
I
obviously the
think the
women do
men,
better.
I think the men are, yeah, I think the men are getting the short end of the stick in this fucking.
The men
What?
think they're doing well, but honestly, I feel like your only thing really to be going to war is kind of sucks.
I mean, just ask whatever the fuck his name is.
War's
Yeah.
literally the fun part of the world, though. Like what?
What?
I'm joking. Damn.
What? You are wilding right now.
No, I'm not joking.
I
Okay.
know you're not joking. You want to go to war? This is the intent on murder. I'm telling you.
No. The thrill of battle would be nice.
hmm Not
Feel the
the
thrill.
death part of it. You don't want. It's not
I
the
mean,
death
at
part
that point, you're
feel it?
just like ass at war. So
What if you die? Oh, okay.
yeah, just be a god.
Oh,
Be storm blessed.
oh God. Yeah, just be Kaladin.
Marry him, and then you're storm blessed too.
Oh my God.
How old is he?
Alright. Chapter
Old enough.
43. The Wretch. The epigraph is, they lived out in the wilds.
Wait, this is about darkness.
They lived out in the wilds, always awaiting the desolation, or sometimes a foolish child who took no heed of the night's darkness. A child's tale, yes, but this quote from Shadows Remembered seems to hint at the truth I seek. See page 82, the fourth tale. So what do you think is this truth that Yasna is seeking?
Her power source.
Hmm.
She wants to know more about it.
I feel like it has something to do with death, to be honest. But
Yeah, because we know she's researching the Voidbringers, she's researching a place called Earthiru, which we don't know what that is, and she's been looking into, like, the history of the area where the Parshendi are, which is called, like, the Unclaimed Hills.
I feel like they're very, very claimed.
Yeah, well, they thought they were unclaimed, but they were actually, had Parshendi in them.
You know, if they're being very affected, their bodies have shells and all that growing out of them or whatever,
Yeah.
right? And we know they have soulcasters or something similar to soulcasters or a power that does the same thing as soulcasters.
Yeah.
And we know they need the gem hearts.
You need the gem hearts for some reason, and they're assuming it's for soul casting food.
What if there is the source of investiture or whatever is closest there?
You think maybe there's like a perpendicularity nearby or something?
Yeah, and that's why they're like so aware and affected, and maybe they've been living longer, and who knows? Because if you grow shells out of your body, you got some radiation shit happening near you.
Just crab people.
I think they'd be cute. Can I keep one?
well, darkness is gonna go date some Parshendi now.
Do you want to see what the
Mhm.
Parshendi look like? I don't know if we've showed any pictures.
Yes,
Of Parshendi.
show darkness what his future, life is
Can
gonna
I
look
see
like.
one with like, was it
Okay.
Sharkblade?
A cute dress on.
Are you for real?
That's what the Parshendi look like.
Why are we on the wrong side of the war?
I know, right? What the hell? I want to be on their side.
And they sing too in battle?
Oh.
Like,
Yeah, they sing while they're in battle.
so that's my father and my mother, you know.
That's father and son, but okay.
No, that's father and mother.
Damn, they look fucking badass.
Right?
Yeah, I'm switching sides. I'm rooting for them.
I mean, for all we know, they had a good reason to kill the king.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't know their reason.
Sounds pretty corrupt in my opinion, anyways. So
To be fair, they probably have good moisturizer.
something like that.
Alright. So we move back to Kaladin's point of view as he wakes up to a familiar feeling of dread. He slowly makes his way to his feet and leaves the barracks, surprised to see the men waiting outside for him to lead them to practice. However, they soon see a light-eyed couple coming towards them, and Kaladin guesses that it's Lamarel's replacement. The woman speaks to them, telling them that her husband is in charge now and that the Almighty has given Kaladin a second chance to be a good bridgeman. Kaladin makes a snide remark, and the woman has one of their soldiers slam a spear into Kaladin's stomach. However, he
Which
catches
he catches. It's so badass.
it. Yeah, he catches it, however, and he knows that he could take the guy to fight, but he knows it wouldn't go well, so he lets the man hit him the second time. Kaladin falls to the ground, and Rock helps him back up. The woman then tells Gaz that each bridge crew will get one specific job and not rotate through jobs like they were before. She gives Bridge 4 chasm duty. She and her husband then leave, with Gaz hurrying off after them. So what do you think about the
Honestly,
new
it's
Light
the
Eyes in charge?
It's the stupidest idea she could have came up with.
Yeah, honestly, I was
That
happy because I
specific
know it's gonna
dude.
be her downfall.
We then skip to that afternoon, and Kaladin is staring down into the chasms. He thinks that he could fall, flying for a moment, but instead he goes down the rope ladder. As he descends, Syl shows up and asks why Kaladin isn't happy. He instead says that he could have fought those soldiers, and Syl asks why he didn't, to which Kaladin replies he thought she didn't like killing. However, Syl replies that
Yep.
she had helped men kill before, although she doesn't want to
Hmm.
talk about it, but she does feel that it had been the right thing to do. So what do you think about Syl apparently having helped men kill before?
I mean, it doesn't shock me at all.
Do you not see like the bloodlust in her eyes? Like,
So Kaladin then tells Syl that sometimes you can't save people, and Syl asks if that's why he didn't accept the glory all those months ago. But Kaladin replies that that was something different. The rest of the bridgemen get down into the chasm, and Kaladin begins leading them down a path. Rock comes up beside Kaladin and tries to cheer him up, but Kaladin just replies that there wasn't a point to him coming back just to watch them all die. Eventually they find a large deposit of bodies, and the smell makes some of the bridgemen retch. Kaladin begins taking bodies out of the pile for the men to check for salvage. Tef then comes over to Kaladin and asks if he wants to talk. However, Kaladin just exclaims that they're going to be killed. The other bridgemen hear this and seem dejected, and Moesh curses him. Kaladin tells Tef that he has spent hours trying to figure out what to do, but can't find an answer. Tef then says that maybe the point isn't to keep from dying, and says journey before destination. Kaladin asks what that means, but Tef says he doesn't know.
I don't know, I just heard it somewhere.
So what do you think about Kaladin letting the other bridgemen hear how hopeless he considers their current situation?
I don't think it's going to have a negative effect.
Well, it kind of does at first until like the end of this chapter.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, I mean, I feel like it's not going to have that much of a negative effect. Like, they're still going to be like, okay, well, you were depressed at one point, but we understand that, so let's go.
What do you think, Darkness?
I got annoyed. Like, keep it to yourself. We don't need trauma. They have enough.
So Sigzilin says that what Tef said was something the Lost Radiance used to say. Life before death, strength before weakness, journey before destination. The group goes on about Radiance for a bit, and Syl tells Kaladin that she likes the phrase journey before destination, and that Kaladin needs to keep trying even though he wants to give up. However, Kaladin says that their only source of income is now gone since they can't get knobweed sap anymore, and that being around all these corpses are likely to get them sick. The other men continue to argue about the Radiance, and Kaladin eventually hurries off away from the group. So what do you think about Tef referencing the Radiance, and I believe in their like discussion between the bridgemen, he also defends them a bit.
I was thinking about it and I blanked. Right. I mean, this is the same guy that found out about the healing thing, right?
Yeah, so he's the one who
Yeah.
kind of figured out the
You
whole
think-
swordplay stuff.
You think he's not gonna want this to play out, knowing that Kaladin has that, you know? Like, if I knew somebody could heal, and I knew there's like some fucking history behind it, and I apparently know that it's all related, you know, I might as well just see how it plays out.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that situation, Mythic, with Tef kind of referring to the Radiance a bunch?
I mean, like Darkness said, like, use it. He's got to use the knowledge he's got, and I feel like he's trying to pick a side, and he's gonna pick the correct one.
He's like trying to hint at
Hopefully.
things to Kaladin, and Kaladin's like, "The fuck you
Mhm.
talking about, dude?"
Mm-hmm. He's trying to sway aside so that he can be on the winning side of history. It's okay. Kaladin's gonna murder them all anyways. So.
So once away from everyone, Kaladin states that there isn't a point in trying anymore, as he keeps failing all the men are about to die. As he stares up at the sky, peeking between the walls of the chasm, he thinks about the phrase that Sigzil had said was from the Radiance. He picks up a rock at his feet and thinks about his brother Tien, who had always given him rocks to cheer him up. Kaladin had promised himself that he would try once more for the bridgemen, and that they weren't dead yet. The phrase life before death keeps repeating in his mind, and he thinks that there is one thing he hasn't tried yet. Kaladin goes back to the group and says they could try to escape, although it may mean that all or most of them will die to their own army. Moesh says they'll all die anyways, as there's nothing around them, but Kaladin says is either die trying to escape or die to the Parshendi arrows. Kaladin says he can train them with the spheres that have fallen down here, and he can attack a guard post at night. Kaladin says that Sadius will be unlikely to stop chasing after them, but there's a small chance for them to escape. The bridgemen agree to this, although Rock says he will just cook for them as fighting is beneath him. Kaladin begins outlining his plan.
I'll just cook for you. Keep your belly full.
So what do you think about Kaladin finding the energy to keep trying to save the bridgemen?
I mean, it's what's gonna make him. Well, I've said this multiple times. It's typical like him character actions, you know.
Yeah.
And like, honestly, do we expect anything else? Like, every time he's had bouts of depression and stuff, he just like picks himself up,
And when he stops picking himself up, then there'll be a problem.
and that's gonna be the ending.
Yeah, at the very end, he'll stop picking himself up.
It always ends like that with characters like him, and it's gonna piss me off. But you know,
Well, I mean, at least they're not killing an NPC that you barely knew and somehow loved entirely.
I just had flashbacks.
I was gonna say you're gonna give Darkness
Why
Triangle
would you fucking
flashbacks.
do this to me?
Alright. Our final chapter, chapter 44, The Weeping. We get another picture here, which
I'm creating that chapter right now with Darkness. See.
so we get like what seems to be a table of contents for a history book, which is called The History of Man. Talks about the expulsion, which is the loss of the Triclean Halls, the desolations, which is the war against the Voidbringers, Aharitium, the last desolation defeated the Voidbringers, the Recreants, the fall of the Knights Radiant, and the hierocracy. I don't know. The failure of this font is difficult for me to read. The failure of Voridism. So this is 5 years ago. Back to past Kaladin's point of view during the Weeping, which is apparently 4 solid weeks of rain that marks the end of a year. He was currently patching the roof as rain had been leaking down onto their dining table, and he notes that they'll repatch it properly once the Weeping is over. He notes that another army is coming through town soon. Apparently a distant cousin of Roshon's was the High Marshal. Roshon had also been extremely reclusive since the White Spine incident, and the townspeople were nervous about him exploding in anger. Tien then shows up and comes to lie down on the roof next to Kaladin. He notes that he likes the rain, although it's hard to stare up at it. Tien also gives him a wooden horse that he made, as he's currently the carpenter's apprentice, although he had gotten in trouble for not focusing on his work much. Kaladin praises the horse, although Tien says that the carpenter would rather him make a chair. Kaladin worries about their father having to use some of the spheres, but Tien says things aren't as bad as they seem. So what do you think about Tien being a skilled carpenter, but still somehow being a disappointment to the head carpenter?
I think the fucking master's old-fashioned, and he should like quit because he pissed me off.
Wow.
Half the people in this book make me angry.
Noticed.
Did you have any thoughts, Mythic, about Tien's carpentry apprenticeship?
Gonna fail.
He hasn't really got a
Don't
chance
know
to
how.
fail.
I don't know how, but it's gonna fail. Oh wait, I do know how. Failure.
So Hestina then comes out and also joins them on the roof. Tien mentions Kaladin's worries about the spheres, but Hestina replies that they still have enough to send Kaladin to Kharbranth in a few months. Kaladin says he wants his family to come with him, although Tien says he likes their town. However, Hestina then reveals that Lyran is only using some of the spheres to make Roshon think he is winning. Hestina states that they'll keep using a sphere every few weeks until they send Kaladin off unexpectedly with the rest of the spheres where Roshon can't get them. She also states that Kaladin can become whatever he wants when in Kharbranth, and that he doesn't have to become a surgeon, even though they'd be very proud of him if he did. So what do you think of Lyran continuing to pretend that Roshon is wearing him down?
It was smart
Tactics.
until it failed.
Also, do you think Kaladin would have been able to convince his family to come with him to Kharbranth if he and Tien didn't go off to the army?
Maybe.
No, the father had two like deep ties into town.
So Lyran then comes out and sees them on the roof, calling Hestina odd when she says they are feasting on irregularity. Lyran then mentions that people are gathering in the square, so the family head off together. Apparently Roshon is to make an appearance for a full town meeting. Once the carriage arrives, a canopy is put up to protect Roshon from the rain, and High Marshal Amram also comes out of the carriage, followed soon by Laurel, whom Lyran notes is likely engaged to Roshon now that Riller is dead. So what do you think about Laurel being engaged to Roshon?
That was something.
It's
kind of weird.
Laurel is
considering that-
probably like 15 to 16, and Roshon is probably 30s or 40s.
No, I'm not gonna.
We already talked about the fact that legality is kind of thrown out the window around here, right?
That's
Yeah.
what I was gonna say. I'm not gonna like judge too much into it, considering this world is
Fucked. Yeah.
different. But what weirded me out was that it was essentially his son's girlfriend,
Yeah, his son's like fiance / betrothed or whatever.
and he was like, "Nah, I guess I'll sweep her up now," you know.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if she's willing to come for him,
I don't think she's. Okay.
uh,
hey, willingness is in many forms.
Stepdad became husband.
No,
Which
don't
is horrible.
ever.
Yeah, stepdad.
Or not stepdad,
Ooh.
father-in-law or whatever.
Oh, father-in-law.
Amber then states that he is looking to recruit for the army, and that anyone who signs up will be there for 4 years, and afterwards they may leave or stay longer. Jost and Avery, along with 3 other boys and an older man, volunteer to join the army. Amber then mentions that they need more recruits, and that Roshon is allowed to enlist people from the town. Lyra tells Calda that they can't take him, as he is Lyra's apprentice, and thus an essential part of the town and not eligible for conscription. However, Tien's name is called, causing Hasina to cry out and clutch at Tien. So what was your first reaction to Tien being forced into the army?
Bye.
I was like, oh
I had a
wow,
feel-
so
I had
that's
a
how that
feeling.
happens.
Yeah, I had a feeling, and Kaladin was just gonna be like, "No, take me instead. Volunteer
Yeah, I
for
had a
me."
whole like
What- Fucking
Hunger
what's that?
Games.
Hunger Games. Yeah, the Hunger
Yeah.
It
Games
didn't really work out
incident.
for him, though.
I mean, like
As long as
I
he
stated
keeps
in
his
the thing,
brother safe,
he
which he
makes a
doesn't.
promise. He makes a promise, and I'm like, bro, you can't make this promise. So that's like setting yourself up for failure. Feel
uh,
bad for you.
so Lyra states that Tien is too young, but Amaranth says that younger boys have been taken into the army before. However, he does ask Roshon if anyone else can be chosen instead, but Roshon insists that he has the right to choose who is unneeded in the town. Amaranth says he'll let Tien be a runner for a year or two as a mercy due to his age, and then begins giving instructions on what the recruits can bring. However, Kaladin calls out, asking if he can take Tien's place. However, Roshon insists he has the right to choose who goes, so Kaladin asks if he can join as well, so that Tien won't be alone. His parents
Which
protest, but
honestly was very smart, okay? Because the man did just state that, they need all of the amount of, like, as many people as possible. So this little kid just says, hey, I want to recruit, boom, let's put him in.
yeah. So his parents protest, but Tien seems hopeful, so Kaladin insists he'll join as well. Leard is especially upset, stating that he's lost both of his sons. However, Tien thanks Kaladin,
Yeah.
and Kaladin then tells his father that in 4 years he'll bring his brother home safely.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the fact that Kaladin joined the army to help Tien, and not because of it was what he chose to do with his life? Like, he didn't, like, run off to the army like he'd kind of said he was going to do.
I mean, he did kind of run off to the army. What are you talking about?
But his plan had to be was to be a surgeon at that point in time if Tien hadn't been recruited to the army.
Drafted.
Yeah, drafted.
I mean, at least it works out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of.
So yeah, so that was our last chapter. So I have a couple overview questions. First of all, do you think Kaladin and the rest of Bridge 4 will be able to escape?
Yes, because they're gonna murder everybody. Kaladin's gonna
With-
show him how good he is with the spear.
Oh wow.
What do you think, Darkness? Do you agree that they'll escape?
I agree with the murder everyone part. 'Cause that's always nice.
Always nice. Okay.
Apparently Sill's for it as long as it's the right thing to do. Also, if they do escape or attempt to escape, do you think any of the main bridgemen that we know will die? Like, do you think Rock or Taft or Moash or anyone like that's
I
gonna
think they're
die?
all gonna die. I think eventually they're all gonna die. I mean, it's kind of the thing about life, right?
Kind of the thing about Kaladin.
That too.
Yeah, do you think that anyone will die during the escape attempt then?
Oh no, I don't know. At least one of them dies. I'm sure.
What do you think, Darkness?
I'm hoping it's not Rock though. Rock's cool.
Rocket's pretty cool.
They do a lot of preparation. Yeah, something's always got to go wrong.
Okay. Also, do you think that Shallan will leave when the Wind's Pleasure arrives, or do you think she'll decide to stay in Carbranth with Yasna?
No, I don't think she'll decide. I think she's gonna be forced to stay here instead. Something else is gonna happen. My assumption is that the murderous person she's with is gonna fucking murder the pirates, but
You have any thoughts,
What
Darkness?
murderous person? What? Am I missing something?
I don't know. I think that all the pirates were gonna get killed.
yeah, I think they're all gonna die.
By who?
Somebody who has
She's gonna go crazy with the
Powers.
soulcaster.
somebody who has powers is just gonna, she knows a lot, so she's gonna find out and she's gonna go murder them.
It's gonna be
Like,
that ardent
you can't
dude.
leave me. Oh,
It's a
actually, yeah, you're
betrayal.
right. I didn't even think about him. Yeah, he could totally be the one that does it.
It's great.
Also, do you think that Yasna is going to discover that Shallan took the Soulcaster?
I think she already knows.
She either already knows or doesn't know.
Great.
Wow. Thanks, darkness.
No, but like not in that way. Like I mean, like she either already knows and it's not saying anything about it, or
She
it's my
doesn't know and
theory,
it doesn't matter.
or no, it's my theory. Where like she doesn't know and she probably won't find out because her
because she's
powers
using her
are,
own powers.
yeah.
Yeah.
She either knows or she doesn't know.
Yes, those are
I
all
get
of the options.
Yeah, those are both options here. Only 50-50 chance. Which one would you like to go with?
Both.
Deal or no deal, darkness?
So next week we're only going to be doing 3 chapters because the chapters are a bit
What?
longer. We're doing
What?
chapters 45 to
3
47.
chapters? 57. Okay.
47.
45 to
57?
57. Got it.
47. 45 to 47.
45 to 57. Got
No. Anyways, I'm like, my voice is dying even more,
it.
so.
No, it's not. No,
It
you're
is.
fine.
Excuses.
No, you're fine. Stay here.
Alright, thank you guys all so much for listening. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next week.
I'll tell me
Bye.
what-
Bye.
Bye.